for the next Connect and Share on Zoom. This is a time to connect with other women from around the Valley with encouragement from the Word and sharing ideas in ministry. Our speaker will be Sherry Wagner, founder of New Thing Ministries. She will be speaking on hope in hard times. Join us either on Tuesday, August 25th at 6:30 p.m. or Saturday, August 29th at 10 o'clock a.m. September is our Lift Conference. The theme is Be a Leader of Impact and Transformation. It is on Friday, September the 25th at Palmcroft Church. Session 1 is Taking Your Ministry to the Next Level. Be a Leader of Impact. Our focus is on designing, revamping, or launching a new ministry. Session 2 is Taking Your Ministry to the Next Level. Be a Leader of Transformation. This will also be a time of dialogue with Erica as we discuss life-changing Bible study. Erica Wiggenhorn is an award-winning author, speaker, and the founder of Every Life Ministries, bringing you the truths of Scripture to transform your life. Join us on September 25th, registration coming at the end of August. I met Carol a year ago standing in a cafeteria line at a retreat. After resigning from being the director of women's ministry at my large church, I knew I would miss the 15 years of retreats we had for our women. At a Lift meeting, someone shared about a retreat held at Prescott Pines, sponsored by the Southwest Church Connection. I was able to obtain the last 6 spots. It was truly an amazing retreat. Women were there from all different churches, but having their own tables and own church time was perfect. Carol joined Lift this year, and at one of our Connect and Share times, Carol shared that she was going to use Zoom interface with Facebook Live to have a 3-hour reunion retreat. It was so professionally done, with no special equipment, no hired tech, just a computer and a monitor. This summer we have Zoomed a lot together, practicing features, and she agreed to help Lift bring technology training to our ladies. That's the beautiful thing about Lift, is meeting so many women from so many different churches, networking together to support and equip each other. Carol has a servant's heart, a love for the Word, and for women. She has designed this Zoom training just for you. Carol is a teacher, a worship leader, women's ministry director, author and speaker, and the founder of Approachable, inviting you into his story. Carol will share Zooming into online ministry.
Well, good morning, ladies. I want to welcome you to my /office guest bedroom. And I'm so glad you are here to join us today as we Zoom into ministry. Vicki, I just want to tell you, I'm so impressed with your presentation. You have learned so much over the last couple months. So good for you. I would have everyone applaud you if we had their mute buttons on, but soon you will learn how you can applaud someone without even saying a word. I'll tell you, I'm just a girl who is in love with Jesus, and I love discipling women of all ages. And so because of that, we've had to go a little bit different direction in the world that we live in today. My expertise for Zoom comes from watching YouTube videos, just like Vicki, and not being afraid to click buttons. So today, as we gather, we are really in a time that has been called unprecedented. And really, I am tired of hearing that word. I want to go back to precedented times, and I didn't even know that was a thing. I want to go back to the time when we were afraid of romaine lettuce. I mean, we're way beyond the lettuce scare as we are navigating things in our life that we never thought would happen in our lifetime. And sometimes I think, shouldn't it be our parents or our grandparents that are chartering these waters? But we have come to realize that we are the grown-ups and we need to figure this out. But I have good news for you. God knew this would happen, and he knew you would be ready to do what it takes. and not just to mask up and brave Costco for toilet paper, but to use our abilities to continue to share his gospel and make disciples of the kingdom that is not of this world. And so that is why you're here. It's not just about learning a piece of technology whose name reminds me of the show I used to watch on PBS with the kids running around the letters, but we're going to learn a piece of technology that is accessible to anyone so that we can stay connected to each other and connect women to God. So today we're going to learn through some instruction, through demonstration, and even through some experiences as we practice together. One of the things I almost always begin an event that we are doing on technology is this. Ladies, we are using technology. We are dependent upon internet. We have to know what buttons to click. We need to know that sometimes things are going to go wrong and be out of our control. So please, always be gracious. And if something happens, if my internet connection goes away, Vicki will pop on and I'll run down the road to my friend's house and hop on hers. There's always a backup solution. As we begin, remember that together we are doing kingdom work. We live in a world where people need truth more than ever because the foundation of the truth in this world has been completely shattered. And so we're going to use a piece of technology that's going to allow us to bring people to know who is the way, the truth, and the life. And here we go, zooming in to ministry. There are 3 goals that we have this morning. They are this. Number 1, we have tools for the participants. These are things that you probably already know because you're here. And so what we're going to do is give you tools. You'll have these slides that you can give people who are part of your ministry to be able to help them navigate Zoom. Also tools for hosts. You're going to learn a few things, hopefully, that you didn't know before you came here today. And then we're going to just have some fun and laughter together as we share some ideas for ministries. And one of the things I love when a group of women get together is to hear each other laugh and connect. And that's really difficult on this platform, but we're going to try to do it anyways. This is an overview. I repeat, an overview. It's going to give you a basic overview. And then if we need to, we can determine when another training should take place. But for now, there are a few things that you can get on my website. If you go to caroltetzlaff.com, and if you already went there today, you would have, or yesterday, you could have downloaded some of the resources. You go to the events tab. You can go to the events, click on Zoom. And then when you click there, you will see a bunch of different PDFs that will help you. Believe it or not, people need to know even how to get to Zoom. And so there's a PDF there that you can send that tells people how to put it in their browser, how to click to join a meeting, where to put the meeting number. Trust me, when you have people new to Zoom, you're going to need this information. These are some of my friends. Some of them are on the call today that you're going to see. They were gracious enough to come on for about 2 hours the other day and take a bunch of screenshots with me. So if you see them on your screen, make sure you say hello. And here we go. Helping your ministry Zoom. You obviously know how to get on a Zoom call, but to everyone, it's not that obvious. And you need the right equipment. In order to troubleshoot for your participants, you need to know why they may be having trouble. First of all, if you are on a computer, you need to know where things are located. So at the bottom of your computer monitor, typically there are speakers, and at the top you have your camera and your mic. And that is the same for a PC. Older monitors do not come with these items and must be purchased separately. I cannot tell you how many times I was trying to help someone connect to audio when they didn't even have speakers. So if they're not being able to connect, this is one thing that you can troubleshoot and just ask them simply, does your monitor have speakers or a camera or a microphone? Those are reasons why they will have difficulty connecting. These items can be purchased for probably, all 3 of them, for probably about $50 on Amazon to be able to set someone up to Zoom. As a host, some of the things that you need to know is where things are located. So your camera is at the top. So the ideal place for your eyes to be if you're hosting an event is towards that camera. Your microphone is also typically at the top. And so you'll want to make sure you project your voice. When you look down or when you look away, your voice will obviously go away. If you are using a tablet or a phone, you can find a lot of the features we'll talk about today simply by tapping your screen. They'll show up for a moment and then they will disappear. In order to use Zoom on these devices, you actually have to tell people they have to download the Zoom app. Some people do not realize that. All right, so getting started. This is a tool that you will need to use with people that are participants. It's actually really important for you that people sign in and have an account. It's really important for you as a host or a teacher or a leader, because this helps you navigate some of the features on Zoom that you can't navigate otherwise. And it helps you get analytics. It will tell you the names in the waiting room. It will tell you when they come to a meeting and what time they leave. It will allow you to pre-assign groups. And so having them actually sign into a Zoom account will help you. Once they are logged in, they can join a meeting. And simply that is done by entering a meeting number, as you know, and a password. It's also done by clicking the link in your email. One feature that I love on Zoom that I just started using is host a meeting. And it's where you can host a meeting without formally setting up one in your meeting account. So let's say you're on the phone with someone and you're talking about something on your computer and you want to share that screen with them and let them see what you're talking about. Simply go in, have them hop on that Zoom call and say screen share only, and they will be there to work alongside you. When you join a meeting, you've already seen these screens today when you hopped on. Screen 1 shows you what you will look like in the video. And when this screen pops up, it's always a good idea to check your camera angle, check your background, make sure there's nothing distracting in it, especially if you're the host. I know we've all seen people jump on Zoom and it just looks like chaos is happening because they don't have their camera positioned. So do that before. At the bottom of my picture, you can see a box and you can check it. It says always show video preview. And that way you will always be able to adjust anything you need to before you move on. Also, it's really good to wear solid colors if you're hosting. If you're teaching, wear a jacket, wear something that brings their attention into your face and you don't just fade into the background. Now, screen 2 will show us the computer audio, which you simply click. But let's say somebody doesn't have speakers like we talked about before. You can simply ask them to check phone call and they can use their phone device to call in, and that way they can be heard and hear, and they can use the meeting ID number that they give them right there to join by a phone. When you sign in to Zoom, you can find the information about your call in the upper left-hand corner. There it is. Just click the lowercase I and the meeting ID and password for your Zoom call will be there. This meeting info comes in really handy when participants lose their connection, because they will end up texting you and saying, I can't get back in. Click the I and it will give you all the information you need to get those people back in. You can also use the copy link and send it to them so they can just click that. This is the feature you would use if you host a quick meeting on the fly, and you can send this link to the person you are talking to on the phone and they can hop on to your meeting. On this screen, you will also be able to help them navigate their sound and their video. If you click the up arrow, it will give them clues as to why theirs may not be working. If they're using the wrong microphone or the wrong speakers, it also will help you know where they're finding their camera feed or if they can't find it. And then here you can also choose your virtual background, so you can come to your meetings from San Francisco or from the beach, wherever you would like, and you can upload your own backgrounds as well. Practice. If you have people that are new to Zoom, we're all going to be starting ministries this fall, and there may be people logging into your ministries that have never used Zoom before or who are not comfortable with it. So I suggest you do a practice session so that you can give them tips and help them with video and audio issues even before your meetings start. I've done this with groups every time we've started. When my Tuesday morning Bible study morning and night went to Zoom during COVID crazy quarantine, we practiced the night before we started to make sure everyone had their audio and their video all ready to go, and they knew where some basic features were. I still guarantee you, Some people will have problems, but at least it will help the majority of them. In the meeting, when you join, this is the view you will see. It's called speaker view. And this is when there is an active speaker on the screen, they will appear in the largest box. In order to toggle through your participants, you simply hit the blue button above and it will go all the way through all the participants on your call. Then there's gallery view, which allows you to see 25 participants at the same time. And that is what it looks like with just a few of us. The person speaking will always have a yellow outline around their video. And if your call has more than 25, so you can practice this today, actually, when we go back to our regular viewing, you can toggle back and forth between the screens using your, the little arrows on the side. Now, if you have a phone or a tablet, the way you go between gallery view and speaker view is you swipe your screen from right to left or from left to right. I believe you can view up to 4 people when you're using one of those devices. The little square in the right-hand corner next to the word speaker view puts you into a full screen mode if you prefer full screen, which means it takes up the whole computer screen. In the upper right of your personal video, you will have this menu. And on this menu, you will see mute and stop video. So now you have 2 places where you can navigate those changes for just you. There's a few options that you have for your video. There's pin video, which I affectionately call the creeper mode, because what happens in pin video is you can go to anyone's video on the screen, you can select pin, and it will show just them in your large speaker view. So you could do this if you are admiring someone's decor from behind them and you want to see what their picture says. You can simply go to pin video and you can see it. Maybe you're a single and you're on a dating call and you want to get a look at that guy a little bit closer. You can click on pin video and see him up close and see if he's one that you really want to meet. So we have spotlight video. Spotlight video is what I did at the very beginning. After Jen prayed, you saw that I was on the screen and you hadn't changed anything. And so what I did was I went to spotlight video so that my picture would be on the screen for everyone to see. And as a speaker or a presenter, that is something that is really handy to use. It helps people not be so distracted by all the other things happening in the videos around them. Then we have rename. At the bottom of your screen, we see the name of the person. Now, somebody came in to our group today that had the name Galaxy. If that is you, you'll want to rename it so that we can call you by name, because we know your name is not Galaxy 5S. So to rename it, you simply click rename. There'll be a box that appears and you rename your video. It's also really good for when you have people in your video that you don't know in your call, and so that way you're able to call them by name. And then last is hide self view. I actually don't know why you would use this, because what it does is it takes your video off camera for you only. Be really careful because they can still see you if you're on hide self view. I have a feeling that some people on calls that I've been on this summer have done this. I saw a gal and she got up and started just putting her makeup on and getting ready for the day while we were on a call. Another one went behind her in the kitchen. You could see everything she was doing. She made dinner, she brought it out, she was sitting right there and she was eating away during the call, and because she was probably on hide self view instead of view. Seriously, like, don't do it. Don't put yourself on hide self view. I have no idea why you would do that. Now we have some other participation features. This is one where if you want to give a reaction, reactions are really fun because it's a way that when you're on a large call and you can't really have everyone participating in their speaking, you can ask for a thumbs up if they're maybe checking for understanding. You can ask them to applaud for a person that has done a presentation just by simply clicking on the hand clap. And these will appear in the upper left-hand corner, and they will disappear after a few moments. So they disappear on their own. You can also find out who is on the call by simply checking or clicking participants in the menu bar. The menu bar is at the bottom. The video and audio controls in this feed can be used by both the individual as well as the host and the co-host. This is really handy if there's a lot of background noise, because you can look, if you look next to Kim's microphone, you will see it's like has a little bit of gray in it. And that gray tells you that it's her microphone that's making the noise. So you can actually go in and click it and mute it so that she won't be heard, because sometimes they don't realize that the noise is coming from them. There's also a raise and lower hand feature that appears in the upper left. The difference between this and reactions is that the reactions will disappear in a few moments. The hand will only disappear after you choose or the participant chooses lower hand. This is a great feature to use if you are asking someone to figure out a problem. If you're teaching a class and you want to give them time, you can just say raise hand when you have the answer, and they can raise their hand, and it'll stay up so you know when the majority of the class has it, so you can move on. You also have the option at the bottom of the participants to mute all. And of course, that's handy so that we can just do it all at one time, especially if the call is large. There is a More tab that is found by each person's name, and this allows you to control things for that person. The More tab is something that you can make a co-host. This way you can have people help you manage participants. When we logged on this morning, the first thing I did was I made Pat and Vicki co-hosts so that they can help navigate this call with me. We also have, you have ask to start video, you could have ask to unmute. All of those are there, or ask them to mute, ask them to start their video, so that you can send them messages, and that message is only shown on the participant's video. There is also a way to admit people or put them in the waiting room. When they're in the call, if you want to put them back into the waiting room, you can simply click this. This is one of the features for those of you who are interested in using Zoom to Facebook Live. This is how we controlled who was on our screen when we wanted to go Facebook Live. So when we wanted Amber Lee to come on the screen, we clicked her name, she came on with Tammy and I, who did the hosting with me, and then we had her go into full screen so that she could do her presentation. And when she was done, we simply said put in waiting room and put her back into the participant waiting room. You can also remove someone from a call. Believe it or not, this is really helpful because some people don't know how to leave a call. And so you get done and you want to have a meeting with just maybe the leaders of your team, and you have this person who's really struggling to figure out, you can just remove them yourself and they can leave the call. All right, next thing, chat. In the menu bar at the bottom, you will see the chat feature, and it appears under the participant box. So at the top you have the participants if you have that open, and at the bottom is the chat. You can simply start the chat by typing your message right here in the chat feed. You can chat to everyone, or when you click the blue box, you can see the people's names who are on your call. This morning when you arrived, most of you probably received a private message from one of our hosts. They tried to catch everyone, so if you did it, we apologize for that, but they sent you a private message just welcoming you here to the call. If you are trying to text to everyone and you're in that private mode now, that's why your message is not being seen by everyone if for some reason you're going back and forth. When you type to a private person, the red text gives you the reminder that you are in a private chat. If you are in full screen, which if you haven't exited out of a screen since I started this presentation, you will need to click the chat button in your menu bar on the bottom, and then the chat box will appear in the middle of the screen. You can type your message and you can move the chat box anywhere you want. And when you are done chatting, you can simply click the red dot and it will disappear. Profile settings and meetings. When you have an account and you go to that account when you open Zoom, this is what your profile looks like. With the profile, you have the opportunity to change your picture. And I really recommend that you do that so that when you go off video, a picture of you shows up. You simply do it by clicking on change, and then you can pick any photo that you want to from your computer. Then you can create a meeting, and you do that simply by going to the meetings tab. when you click on it, now scheduling a meeting, if you have a non-paid Zoom account, they allow you 40 minutes for a meeting. This 40 minutes will end, but you can jump back onto the meeting as much as you want. When you go to meetings, you will see this button, schedule a new meeting, and most of you probably already know how to do this, but in this feature, you can simply enter the topic, you can enter the time and the date, and then you can enter how long it will last. Now, let's say I schedule a meeting for 1 hour, but it goes an hour and a half. That is completely fine. Really, this feature is if you're sharing it with maybe your church, so no one else schedules during the time your meeting is already scheduled. If you have a reoccurring meeting, like for example, I was setting up my Tuesday morning Bible studies, you can go ahead and choose the reoccurring. So you have the weekly. My Bible study happens weekly. It happens 1 time a week. It happens on Tuesday, and then you can choose either how many times you are meeting or the date that you are ending the meeting. Since my Bible study is a reoccurring meeting, I can set up all the calls at one time. The great thing about a reoccurring meeting is that you can use the same password, personal meeting, and password every time you go to that meeting. So although it's always a good idea to send it out each week, the people have it for the entire 10 weeks or whatever it is that you are meeting. Once you've set the meeting, you can see it in your meeting tab. And to simply start the meeting, you click start. And then to edit the meeting or to see the meeting, you click the blue title of the meeting, which mine is Bible Study AM. In order to send someone the invitation, you go into the meeting, you simply copy the invitation. This box will show up. You click the blue button, and now it copies it to your clipboard of your computer. You then paste it into an email. Now they have the meeting click that all they have to do is click on that blue URL and they are sent directly to the meeting, or they can enter manually the meeting ID and the passcode. All the stuff underneath it is really not necessary. So oftentimes I delete it so it doesn't confuse them. And this is all I send my gals when I'm sending them a meeting invite. All right, take a breath. That was a lot of information so far. Went pretty fast. So we're just gonna kind of take some time to laugh. You know, during this COVID quarantine, there have been so many amazing, funny memes out there, and these are just a few of my favorites, so take a little break. And this is a new one I just saw, 2019, we were supposed to avoid negative people. In 2020, now we're supposed to avoid positive people. I don't know about you, but I am so ready to go on a vacation. And so this was one of my favorites. I told my suitcases that there would be no vacation this year, and now I'm dealing with emotional baggage. And then my husband purchased a world map, gave me this dart and said, throw it anywhere it lands. I'm taking you for a holiday once this pandemic is over. Turns out we're spending 2 weeks behind the fridge. And I wish I could hear you laughing because I just think that one is hysterical. I know we have a lot of information today. And so what I'm going to offer to you is 30 days of tech tips and resources for your ministry on my Facebook author page. So we will send you the link on Monday, but you can also just go to Facebook and type in Carol Tetzlaff -author, and you should be able to find it. I'll share videos with you. I will share all kinds of things that will help you be able to navigate ministry coming up, and just a lot of free downloads and things that you can use to help. Now we're going to go talk about breakout rooms. So breakout rooms, I'm going to state the obvious. It's a feature that takes a large group and divides it into small groups. To access breakout rooms, you must first go into your settings and you must select in meeting advanced. And once you are there, you can go to breakout room and just simply hit the toggle switch, and the toggle switch will allow the breakout room option to come up in your menu. There is also underneath, you can see where it says allow host to assign participants to breakout rooms when scheduling. So this gives the option for when you are setting up your meeting. You'll see this is one of the meeting options that you'll be given when you set up the meeting, is breakout room pre-assignment. I'm not going to go into the details of that, but you will be able to place, if you have everyone's email, you can set them up into pre-assigned breakout rooms. This is one of the reasons why it's really important that they need to register, because if they come into your meeting without signing in, they will not be seen as a participant in a breakout room. So that's another thing you have to teach your participants. When you go to your regular screen, you will see in the bottom menu a breakout room. And so you simply click it. And when you do, this box will pop up. It tells you that you have 6 participants on your call, and you're going to divide them into 2 rooms. And then they even do the math for you and tell you it's 3 participants per room. This can be done automatically, so Zoom will just go ahead and create rooms for you, or it can be done manually where you will go in and actually assign people to certain rooms. When you click recreate all rooms, or create all rooms will be the first one, you will see a screen that looks something like this. And this shows you each breakout room and who is in the breakout room. During this time, you can click options at the bottom, and this will give you some different options you can have. Move all participants into breakout room automatically. Basically what this feature is they don't have an option to join. So I'll show you what those screens look like in a minute, but they will just go straight to the breakout room without having the option to join. The next one is allow participants to return to the main session anytime. So you as a host are in the main session, and so it gives them the freedom to go back and forth if they would like. Or you can uncheck that box, and then they have to stay in the breakout room until you invite them back. Breakout rooms close automatically. If you want to just set a timer and say you have 10 minutes to discuss this, you can put a 10-minute timer in, and then you can check the box notify me as the host when this time is up. And then when it gets close, my computer will send me a signal, and that signal will warn me that I need to get back from the kitchen, fixing my drink, and come back to my office so that I can be on the call when they arrive. Then you have a countdown. So when you decide to close the breakout room and invite them back in, you can set the countdown for as many seconds as you would like. This gives them time to finish up their conversation. Then you click open all rooms, and then the rooms will open and people will be assigned there. When they are in the breakout room, as well as before they get to the breakout room, you can change people around. And you can do that simply by clicking on move to, and you can switch them to another breakout room. Let's say when you first initially create your breakout rooms, you realize that one of them doesn't have a leader in it. You can move that leader to a separate breakout room so that you know that every group is covered. If you are the host, you as a host can join breakout rooms at any time. So I can simply click, if I wanted to join breakout room 2, I click join and I say yes. And so I will enter into breakout room 2. If I want to leave the breakout room, I simply click leave, and it takes me out of the breakout room into the main session. So no one else would then see me. I'd be apart from all the other groups. You can broadcast as a host. You can broadcast a message to the breakout rooms, or just say something to them, whether it's a question you want to ask them or remind them of something, that is there for you. And then when you are done with the breakout session as a host, you can click close all rooms, and that returns everyone to the main sessions. Here are the screens that you will see when you are getting ready to go to a breakout room or in a breakout room. First, it says the host is inviting you to a breakout room. So this is if I clicked that they have an option of being entered into the room. So you simply click join breakout room. Then they will see this sign on their screen. Everything else disappears, and this joining box will appear. At the top of their screen actually will be the messages that I send. So I broadcasted this message. Hey everyone, take a pic of this message. So I would have it to show you today. And that is what broadcasting a message looks like in your breakout room. When I decide and it's time for it to be over and I click close, this message will appear, and they have the option to finish up their conversation in 60 seconds. And if they are done, they can simply click return to main session. And then they will see this button or this, and it will take them right back into the main session. Why would you use a breakout room? Well, I'm sure if we could talk to each other right now, you would have lots of ideas, but the basic ones are, if you are teaching and you want to have a time of discussion, you want to give them a question. So you would break out people into rooms. If you are a leader of a Bible study group and you have a large group of women, like many of us do, I'm sure on this call, who then divide up into smaller groups, you can pre-assign or you can assign them on the fly as to which group they would go into, and they can discuss their Bible study homework for that week. You could also use it for prayer groups. We've used breakout sessions for game nights in our women's ministries as we were quarantined and we wanted to get together and just have some fun. One of the games that we did, my friend Jen is on here and she created this one, is Scattergories. And we had them print out their cards before the meeting started, before our game night started. And then as a large group, we would go ahead and do all of the different columns where you roll the letter and they try and get the names of the items in 3 minutes. We would do all 3 columns, but because our group was so large, we couldn't play the game together. And so we would divide into other groups, into the breakout rooms, so that they could decide who's had the most unique answers. Another game night that we did was, instead of bingo, we did Zingo. And this, depending on the size of the group, could be done in one large group or it could be done in small groups. And I basically just gave them each, had them print out a Zingo card, gave them the numbers to fill in, and we played bingo. And then this is, I'm not being paid by Crumble Cookie, but Crumble Cookie was a great way to send prizes to my ladies, because you can send them a box of cookies for $20. It goes right to their house. You pick the time, you pick the date. And so Carolyn won our bingo night, and there she is with her Crumble Cookies. All right, I'm going to give you some fun ideas using screenshots, because one of the things I love, if you are friends with me on Facebook, you know that I love pictures. I love making memories. And so when I had to do everything online, it just about killed me, because it's really hard to get pictures with people when they are online. And so when I went to a conference, what I did was, oftentimes when you go to a conference, you see memes that are created. And so I created memes from some screenshots that I did. Now you have to take a bunch of screenshots to get one that actually looks decent, because they don't know you're taking their picture. But we have here Carol Kent at a conference I went to. This conference was actually done from Zoom to Facebook Live. So you see the Zoom logo in the bottom, but you also see the Facebook Live in the top left. And it tells you how many people are on your call. But it was a writer's conference. And so she says, when God writes your story, you will be in for an adventure of a lifetime. I attended another conference this July. Liz Curtis Higgs was part of that conference. And they did completely Zoom. They did webinars. And so this is an idea that you can use just to capture people. My friend Erica, who's going to be speaking in September, spoke at one of the conferences. So I encourage you to attend on September 25th, the Lift Call, and hear her speak. But she says, before you get into their head, grab their heart. The other thing I love to do is create markers for my ladies when we have a Bible study together, so we remember where we've been. And when we were so apart, it was really difficult to get that many markers out to that many ladies. And so I created a photo collage using Zoom. So what we did was we all smiled for a picture. We did Unexplainable Jesus, which is Erica's study. It's going to be on sale at Moody for half off this weekend. So if you want to do her study, now's a great time to get it at moodywomen.com. But you can go on and so you see Erica in the center. She came on. It was awesome because we were doing it by Zoom. And even though we live in the East Valley and she lives in the West Valley, she was able to come on and be a part of our last Bible study and speak to us and kind of wrap it all up. We did screenshot of the whole group. And then I had all the ladies fill out a paper that said Jesus is, and tell me something about Jesus that they really captured through that study. And we took a picture of that, and then I put this together and sent the picture out to everyone, so we have a marker of the study we did together. So there's lots of fun things you can do to create still the atmosphere that you would have if you were in person. All right, we're gonna do, this is really our last big topic, and it's screen sharing, and that's what we're currently in. And to the side of your screen share, you may see, depending on what you've chosen, but you may see this row of people. At the very top where the yellow arrow is, it tells you what views you can have. So this is the row, and if you go to the bottom, using this arrow, you can toggle through your view and you can see who is on the call. Then we have the grid view. And during this view, you can actually go ahead and still use your menu of unmuting and showing your video and that type of thing. You have speaker view only, which is just the single view. So whoever typically is speaking is usually on that view. And then you can have the no one view. So you don't see anyone, you just see full screen what they have on their screen. Now remember, if you choose speaker or if you choose none, your video is on so people can still see you. So just remember that unless you turn your video off, if you're in one of these modes, people can still see you. For a screen share, the screen share icon is at the bottom of the menu bar screen. If you click share screen, that is what you will see. And then you can choose which screen you want to share. There are a lot of options you can use for screen share, and it mostly has to do with who's allowed to share screen, if you want a participant to share it, if many people can share it, and you can go to advanced, and again, you can kind of choose through who you want to allow to share their screens. When you are ready, you click, so the blue box indicates what screen I'm going to share. If you share your desktop, you will have access to all of your files. If you share a specific file, that file only is live. Once you share an item, you just simply click share screen. And now this is just a little pet peeve of mine, just because I like things to look neat and tidy. And so if you share a PowerPoint or a keynote presentation, make sure that you go into play mode so that they don't see what's coming next. They don't see all your slides. And this will play automatically when you hit screen share. It puts everyone into full screen viewing. If you would like to have access to your sidebar of chat and not have a box in the middle, you can simply go to view options at the top and you can exit full screen. And this will allow you to be able to have your chat bar, your participant screen bars, column right next to the screen that you are viewing. Let's see. To know if your screen is sharing or not, you simply look at the top and you will have a green bar at the top that says you are screen sharing. If you are viewing someone's screen, it tells you whose screen you are viewing in this particular green box. When you are done sharing, you simply click stop share. If you want to switch what you are sharing, so you're in a PowerPoint and now you want to switch and go to a video, you don't have to go in and out. You can just simply go to new share and your screen will pop up and you can choose what you want. You have an annotate bar, and this annotate bar will show up. This is a really cool feature if you're trying to maybe navigate with a group of people, some type of thing you're learning. You can click arrow, and then when you click the blue arrow, you can click anywhere on your screen and an arrow will show up. So there's my Kelly Carroll arrow. So that's from me. But a participant can also share an arrow. And so you see a brown arrow with Carol Tetzloff on it below. And that tells me who is engaging in the presentation with me. The next kind of screen share that you have is a whiteboard. And so when you click on share screen, you will see a whiteboard. And so you simply select share, and then this will appear, and there's my beautiful artwork that I used using the draw feature. You have an annotate bar that has all different options on it, and I'll show you a few of the options. You can use a text box. So this text box you can place anywhere on the screen and just start typing using your keyboard, and that will appear. You can use draw, and there are drawings, different marker sizes, as well as shapes that you can place in your whiteboard. There are stamps. I think there's about 6 different stamps you can use. And again, you have the arrow to spotlight. So if you want to point something out to someone, as well as other participants can use it as well. 2 more down where it says format, that's where you choose the color that you want. And then you can clear it all by just simply clicking the trash. Or if you drew something and you want to undo it, the undo and redo does just 1 step back. And one fun thing you could do with your ladies is play Pictionary and use the whiteboard option. We have video share, And for video share, it's just like anything else where when you go in, you just select the video. But the main important thing when you share a video or you share audio is to click these boxes: optimize share screen for video clip. It makes the world of difference for your participants when they're viewing your video or hearing your audio. If you don't share your computer sound, they will not really hear it at all, or they'll just hear a muffling in the back. And so there we go. This is Zoom into Ministry. And I'm going to stop the share so we can just kind of talk to each other. I want to just tell you that as you go into this Zoom world, and maybe many of you have already been doing it, but I want to remind you that you were made for this. Ezra is one of my favorite characters in the Bible, and in the book of Ezra, we see a pagan king that is used by God to release the exiles to return to Jerusalem and reestablish worship. And I'm going to tell you that Zoom, I don't know who the creator was, but they possibly are a pagan, and we are using their platform for God's purpose to release women and men from isolation and engage them in ministry. It can be used for our good and for his glory. Amen. If you agree with me and you are excited about using Zoom in your ministries or continuing to use it, go ahead and take that reaction button and do a thumbs up.
All right, well, I think we'll start. I want you to tell us how you use Zoom to stream your retreat reunion to Facebook Live. And I think that was one of our questions.
All right, well, I'll tell you, I learned how to do this from a 1 minute video, 1.5 minute video on YouTube. I was terrified. My friend Tammy is on this call with us, and she knows that I was terrified as we were doing it. I'm going to stop sharing the poll, and I'm going to go back into my screen share really quick. So to do Zoom to Facebook Live, you need to go into your settings and go to In Meeting Advanced, and then you click or you toggle Allow Live Stream Meetings, and you can choose which areas. You can also use YouTube as well as a custom live streaming service. Your church may have something that they prefer to use, and so you can use that as well. Then it's so easy. You go to More on the Zoom page at the bottom in your menu, and you simply click Live on Facebook. You will see these screens pop up in a row. So first it will say, go on Facebook, share on your timeline. Well, when we did it in a group. So I basically said share in group, and then I typed in our group name, and it automatically appeared as SWCC Women. And then it will prepare your live stream. Once you hit next, it prepares your live stream to go to Facebook, and then you'll see this screen. So you're going to see what they see, the preview on Facebook. It's not live yet. You can type in something about the event. You can type in a title about the event, and then you can say go live. And really, it's that simple. And then it's about a 20-second delay, and you manage the live on Zoom. And that's the part that's a little more complicated because you need to use waiting rooms, with the video, with screen shares. It's something that has to be really scripted. I think our script for that 3-hour event was probably 20 pages long with every detail, because not only are you managing a live Zoom event, but you're managing it on Facebook. And so you have all of these features you can use as people are posting.
Carol, is there another way to stream an event using only Zoom?
Yes, I have seen events done on Zoom with webinar. And again, that's another topic for another time, but that controls who is in the waiting room. And the people in the waiting room can't be on screen, or the people in the webinar, but you can still manage who is actually in and out of your screen. So that would be done in the webinar feature. We are going to be doing an event at our church next Saturday for our women's ministry kickoff. And that event, we're using Zoom for the participants that don't want to come to the in-person gathering. And so they will have a Zoom event where we will use that feature that I told you, spotlight video. So we will use a camera that will spotlight the video of the stage or of the video screen or whatever it is we are using for that. So yes, it can be used. Again, it's just a lot of logistics of being very organized and knowing who to, having someone running it that knows all the ins and outs of what to click.
But someone had a question. They wanted to know, is that a feature that's for the paid subscription?
No, you could use Zoom on a free subscription. It just will only last you 40 minutes. So it'd have to be a really short event.
Right.
But yeah, you have Spotlight on any feature, and groups are also something you can do in the free. You just can't pre-assign the groups. So.
Carol, do you know offhand on a paid subscription, not the big one like you have, but like I think it's 15 a month or 10 a month, whatever it is. Do you know what the maximum length of a call is?
The maximum length, I think, is 24 hours.
Okay, I looked it up and that's what I thought it said. I just wanted to be sure.
And you can have up to 100 people. My husband didn't tell me until much later into Zoom quarantine or COVID quarantine that he had the highest level. And so I could have had all these amazing features that I didn't even know until just a few weeks ago. But we, so mine, you can do up to 200 people on your call for your Zoom, but a webinar, you can do 1,000.
Wow.
So that is, and because you wouldn't want 1,000 people on a call like this, it's just too.
Carol, can I ask a question, Carol?
Yes.
If I am if there's an interviewer and an interviewee and then a host, can the host be blocked out so that people only see the interviewer and the interviewee?
Yes, they can stop video share. They can be put back into the waiting room. So that's one of the features. That is why you really want to have a waiting room, so you can bring people in and out of it. Super helpful for an event like that. And that's what we did when we did our retreat live. We would just take someone and put them out into the waiting room.
Okay.
I've been off for a while. So you talked about using fall technology at your retreat.
Okay, no, we did it.
About
so
that.
This retreat, so we're doing a retreat. The Southwest Church Connection, as well as Tammy and I, are doing a fall retreat. We're doing it in person. It's going to be one weekend in September and one weekend in October. And we are doing the second weekend online as well as in person. So here are some of the things that we are doing online. And we're not just using Zoom as our as the only platform, because there are lots of platforms out there that you would need to do an effective event. But we are using Zoom for the discussion group so that the women that are attending online can still be a part of that discussion after the speakers' talks or during some breakout sessions. We're actually going to do an online craft. So we're sending them ahead of time all of the craft supplies that they will need. And then our craft gal is going to get on and she's going to do a craft with them on Zoom, so they feel, because crafts are super popular at the retreat. Our retreat is in the Pines. And so we're going to be mailing each person a pine scented air freshener so they can hang it up by their computer screen so that they are able to enjoy the scent of the pines. Hopefully it won't be a horrible scent. We're going to use Zoom for dinner with the speaker so that they have an opportunity just to talk to the speaker that we have, because they will not have that interaction, obviously not being there. We're going to do a Q&A with myself, with Tammy, and just do some time that we're going to spend with them. Tammy's going to do, for the pastors' wives that are attending online, she'll do some type of a breakout session with them, because we always give our pastors' wives a little special attention at our retreat, and we want them to feel the same. But we're going to be using an online streaming platform for our actual event. And don't tell anyone. So if you're doing the online retreat, I'm going to kind of tell you what we're going to do, but we're actually going to videotape weekend one, because we don't want to have to depend on streaming signals from the Pines, because their internet is not very solid. And so we will run weekend two, the sessions from weekend one, but we will treat it live, and we will have hosts there, and we'll be interacting with them just as if it's happening. And really our program doesn't change any, so they won't really know the difference. There won't be anything majorly different. We are also using Facebook Live on our Facebook page. They will be invited to a private page because they have to pay. It's not very much, but they have to pay to be part of the online retreat. And we'll do things where we go out and do Facebook Live and let them interact with people that are doing the ropes course or the high ropes or at dinner time or during our horseback riding or our bike riding or the hay ride, any of those things, because we want them to feel like they are a part, because the one thing about this isolation is people just need to have fun. And so to be able to interact with them, even if it's on Facebook Live, to let them know that they are important, that they are seen, that they are known, that they are heard, and that's what we all want. So there's information on that retreat on my website on the events page. You simply click it and then you can be a part of it if you want. We still have openings both weekends, not so many the first weekend, but October 2nd through the 4th, I think we have about 50 spots left. So if you'd like to be a part of it, we would love to have you engage. We have so much fun.
We have one more thing I want Carol to talk about, and then I will open it up to questions. So again, people have been asking, her notes are all of her PDFs are on her website. Her PowerPoint is on her website. And so, and then you will get a recording of this Zoom call. But I want Carol to talk to us about how we can learn other tips for using technology in our ministries. What are some other things that we can do?
All right, well, I mean, to learn the tips, actually Zoom has 2 tutorials. If you go to your profile page, you'll see it at the very bottom of the page. And they have some great, really short ones, and then they have some super long ones. But honestly, I learned so much from just watching tutorials. They also have some on Facebook as well, or not Facebook, on YouTube as well. You can just, and Google. I mean, I was wondering, I'm like, what does Spotlight Video do? Before I knew, I just typed in, what does Spotlight Video do on Zoom? And Google knows the answer to everything. So you can just go on there and Google will tell you. I'm going to, as I said before, on my Facebook page, I'm going to be posting some of these links for you. I'll do 30 days of tips for sure. And then I may continue doing some things. You know, when I started this journey, I didn't know God was going to use me to help people with tech, because like I said, I don't feel like I'm a very techie person, but this is the course that he has set me on. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on my Facebook page. While on that page, I'm going to give you some free Bible study links. Tammy and I have in the works, we have a Bible study that we're going to be doing on a live stream. So if you're wondering what to do with your women this fall, we're going to offer something completely free for you to watch. And then we'll have books that you can download on your own and print on your own for your ladies. And it's just hard to do Bible study on Zoom when there are copyright issues. And so we want to be able to have something for you. And so Erica Wagenhorn, if you know who that is, and I've talked about her a little bit, she's going to be part of that. And you will be blessed by it. It's a study on Moses. So that I will put the link on my Facebook page for that. I will also put the link for some retreats to attend. Even if you just want to go to see how technology is used, go ahead and do that. Contact me. I'll get you set up with that. Again, training videos, and I'll give you images to send to people. So let's say you have new people to Zoom and you want to teach them how to sign in. I'll remind you where they are on my website, as well as give them to you right on my Facebook page. So lots of different things will be offered to you so we can stay in contact, because really an hour just isn't enough time to get it all done.
I have a question real quick. It's not my own personal question, but I noticed something that came up in the chat quite a bit is, are there any of the features that you talked about today that are not on the free plan?
I believe the one main feature I talked about, I've never just used a free plan, so honestly, I don't really know exactly, but I know you have to have a paid plan in order to pre-assign breakout groups. So if you're dealing with a large women's ministry, and let's say you're doing part of your Bible study on Zoom this year, you may want to be able to use that feature. And so that may be something that would be worth your time and effort in paying for it, because you can have everything pre-assigned. Otherwise, you can just start assigning people when they start popping into the call, or you can have somebody else assign them, because it can be done, but this way it's done every single time, so you don't have to do it every week.
There are breakout rooms in the free version. And if you have the free version, one of the things that I learned, you can do a one-on-one, and it's unlimited time. It is only when you have more than three or more for the free version that you only get 40 minutes. So if you want to do one-on-one, I did a a call with Chris Syme, and it's unlimited time. So
Okay.
anyway,
That's
okay.
good to know. All right,
Pam.
Had a question.
I was just going to ask that if I want to put people in breakout rooms that didn't register, but I wanted to put a leader in each room, would I just manually move them?
Yes.
Okay.
You would just manually move them into, you can exchange. So if you have 6 people in a room and you need a leader, you can put, move one person into room 2 and a person from room 2 back into room 1 or whatever. So it just takes a little while, but it totally can be done.
I see one more question in the chat we might want to touch on. It says from Ruth Hill, clarify how to use the host a meeting without it being scheduled.
Okay. That's like my favorite feature. I'm just going to go real quick to a screen share and show you that screen because it's just a lot easier if I have the screen up. So basically what you do to just hop on a quick call is go to host a meeting. Then you click which kind of meeting you want, video on, video off, or share your screen. Then when you open your meeting, you go to the little letter I in the top corner, and that will give you the link you can send or the password and the meeting ID. So you could quickly text it to someone or tell them on the phone if you're talking to them, and then they can hop on that call without any need to schedule a meeting. So that is just a really easy way, and it's super quick. I did it. I can't even tell you how many times I do that.
Here's the news, ladies, from all over, leaders, pastors from all over the United States, is that digital is here to stay. And so there's been an explosion on the media and the websites. And so we need to be prepared to offer both in-person and digital classes. Many women I have heard have made comments saying, working women saying, I so wanted to come to Bible studies, and having the option now to do it digitally and having it put like on a Facebook or a YouTube, they can go and watch it at any time. And especially now, so many moms are having to homeschool their kids. I mean, their kids are in school, but they have to be home, like my daughter, and she's saying, I am having a terrible time working and trying to keep 3 of them, on their computers doing their work. So it is a great option that I think all of us need to be using, both in person and online. And we hope that you'll join us for our Connect and Share time, the end of August, with Sherry Wagner. She is in her mid-30s, and she is an anointed, gifted teacher. And so we just thank you for joining Lift, and have a good weekend, and watch your email for next week. Goodbye, ladies.